All right. A call on Imala Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Kodash. We double honor to the apostles, elders at Great Millstone. Salutations to you, Hakim, pushing the work of truth and sincerity. All right. So I want to call this one Esau, fugitive from justice. Okay. And based on this article that I was just reading. All right. Conspirators for the Constitution. All right. So it says when anti-government speech becomes sedition. Okay. It says let's be clear about one thing: seditious conspiracy isn't a real crime to anyone but the U.S. government. To be convicted of seditious conspiracy, the charge levied against Stuart Rhodes, who was sentenced to 18 years in prison for being the the driving force behind the January 6 Capitol riots. One doesn't have to engage in violence against the government, vandalize government property, or even trespass on property that the government has declared off limits to the general public. All right, and I'm thinking how it applies to us, okay? Because essentially, our speech, they're gonna identify as sedition, all right, because you're dealing with, a corrupt, system that's ran by the Edomite, hegemony, I guess you could say. All right, so let's see if we can go into a little bit more. All right, because they can punish you just for speech now. Why? Because they're running from justice. All right, and right here, this is a perfect picture right here, because this is the ploy or the game they play in politics. They shout out death to tyranny, equality, revolution, freedom, but they've levied they built the whole empire on the basis of rape, robbery, and murder. Essentially, war crimes, what else? Crimes against humanity. All right. Oh, I got a list. Salaki, United Nations. All right. Office on Genocide Prevention and Responsibility to Protect. All right. And we can say that this society is not the West, Esau's establishment, has not taken the responsibility to protect, rather to exploit. But it says here definitions. Okay. Genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, ethnic cleansing. And they've done all of this, okay? It has more. All right. Definition, Rome Statute of International Criminal Court, Article 7. This is just for a template. All right. Crimes against humanity. Because now they want to cry, sedition among the people when they've committed crimes, horrible crimes throughout history. Let me see something real quick. Right, so Esau has committed crimes throughout history, all right? And no one really, stands against him. You have certain people who try to take him to the world court and get him charged for war crimes, but they continue to do their evil, all right? And the only one that's going to be able to come against them and to charge them is us. And eventually, the judge is Yahweh Shai. Okay. So here, I like that depiction right here, because this is what they yell in politics and they talk about in politics day in and day out. But they've been evil and terrible towards the planet Earth within the last few centuries. Okay. And the enslavement of the nation of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the transatlantic slave trade, was probably the biggest, the most horrible crimes they ever committed. All right. okay, and they got unjustly rich and wealthy off of the transatlantic slave trade. All right, and so on and so forth. So here it says, in a time of deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act, George Orwell. Let's be clear about one thing. Seditious conspiracy isn't a real crime to anyone but the U.S. government. To be convicted of seditious conspiracy, the charge levied against Stuart Rhodes, who was sentenced to 18 years in prison for being the driving force behind the January 6 Capitol riots, one doesn't have to engage in violence against the government, vandalize government property, or even trespass on property that the government has declared off limits to general public. To be convicted of seditious conspiracy, one need only foment a revolution. All right, this is not about whether Rhodes deserves such a hefty sentence. This is about the long-term ramifications of empowering the government to wage war on individuals whose political ideas and expression challenge the government's power, reveal the government's corruption, expose the government's lies, and encourage citizenry to push back against the government's many injustices. This is about criminalizing political expression in thoughts, words, and deeds. And we do that to the highest degree. We do that day in and day out. Okay? Because again, this controversy is going up into the heavens, all right? And we're complaining to the Lord because we can't take him to the world criminal courts or whatever you want to call them, because they'll just get off, all right? And you're not going to be able to run from this justice, all right? You're not going to be able to silence anything, all right? And this is it's a lot for the long-winded speaking, man. I'm trying to work on getting straight to the point, all right? Okay. So it's Habakkuk chapter 2, all right, verses 8. So you can't stop the sedition. It's gonna come because of your works that you do in the earth. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. It says, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that therein, all that dwell therein. All right. Okay, so you're gonna be spoiled because of the blood and the violence that you have started in the land. It's gonna end with you being spoiled. All right. It's gonna end with you being violently taken. All right. Verse 9. Woe to him that coveted an evil covetousness to his house. Now we know the elite, they're safeguarded, but eventually, the ramifications for their actions is going to lie on, the people in this society. All right. And them that aren't so high up, but the higher ups, eventually their punishment is coming as well, because they're not going to be able to escape this. All right. No matter how many people they silence, no matter how many people they, put to death, who's going to save you? All right. From the real long arm of the law, which is the Lord, from the heavens. All right. Because it's a heavenly court. Okay. So Habakkuk 2:9, woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house. All right, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Right. So you set your nest on high, so you won't have to suffer, and that goes right in line with your blessing, the blessing that Isaac gave to Esau, which was he was going to rule the earth with the sword. All right. Okay, or he was going to sustain his life with the sword. I forget exactly how it go. So forgive me. All right. That's Genesis, because I do want to quote it the right way. 27, like 40. And I'm looking it up on the computer real quick. It's actually up a few verses. Oh yeah, it says, "And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother." All right, and this is, how he's gained his evil covetousness. All right, is through the sword to sustain his own life, to sustain his own way, and his own authority in the earth. All right, this is why they have a whole empire, a whole kingdom, as we would put it. All right, hegemony, whatever you want to say. All right, superpower, whatever you want to say. All right, through his sword, he was able to do this. And by sword, we meaning a tool for killing, an instrument for killing, or weaponry, however you want to say that. All right, but the sword is definitely synonymous with is a tool and a killing instrument. All right, so you've gotten all this riches by what? The definition here. And Salaki, and is UN, United Nations Office on Genocide Prevention and Responsibility to Protect. It says here, for the purpose of the statute, crime against humanity means any of the following acts when committed as part of a widespread or systematic attack directed against any civilian population with knowledge of the attack. All right, and we got knowledge of the attack. You had knowledge of the attack, by Cristobal Colon. He wrote his memoirs, and in his memoirs, he said specifically that he couldn't put down his sword. All right, he couldn't put down his sword because of all the killing that he was doing. All right, so that is evidence against you. Also, what's also evidence is that you commemorated, put statues of Cristobal Colon up everywhere in America. Also, you have made a holiday. So, the point that I was bringing out back is going to resurface. So here's the examples: murder, extermination, enslavement, deportation, or forcible transfer of population, imprisonment, or other severe deprivation of physical liberty in violation of fundamental rules and international law, torture, rape, sexual slavery, and this is literally how America was erected. All right, rape, sexual slavery, all right, and forced prostitution, forced pregnancy. Look at that. And forced sterilization or any other form of sexual violence or comparable gravity. This is America. All right. This is America. Okay. All right. Habakkuk chapter 2 verses 10. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. All right. For the stone, and this was the point I wanted to bring out, for the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. All right, let me get that in the NLT. It says it much more clearer. All right. Because now they're at the point where now they're trying to punish people for even coming against or saying anything against is corruption, which that don't mean nothing. You can silence people, but that word, the truth, will always come out, and the truth is written to the ears of the Heavenly Father, the Lord of armies. Okay, and He's the one that's gonna come and try your works and try your kingdom to see if it's solidified and that it stand on truth and justice. Because if it doesn't, then the Lord is just going to destroy you. And we know exactly what the Lord is going to do. Habakkuk 2 and 10. But by the murders you committed, you have shamed your name and forfeited your lives. All right. You forfeited your own lives. Okay. So don't cry and try to persecute everybody that has woken up to your madness or who calling out your corruption. Don't cry. All right. And that's how Esau is anyway. He's a coward. He's the biggest, he's the sore loser. Okay. All right. It says the very stones in the walls cry out against you, and the beams in the ceilings echo the complaint. You see? So you can silence whoever you want to. All right. What sorrows awaits you who build cities with money gained through murder and corruption? So what sorrows awaits you? The scripture says, thus with great violence shall that great city be overthrown, I believe. All right. Let's see. Okay. Revelations 18 and 21. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea. All right. And this is the judgment of what's going to happen to the whore, which is America, who rideth the beast. And the beast represents the UN, the United Nations. All right, it's funny, okay, because they have this whole article here where they defining these different horrible crimes, but America has yet to be punished because of those crimes. All right. So it says, and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. All right. So also to point out, the Lord said in Luke 12, it says, because this place is going to, pretty much feel violence all the way up into the day of its the final judgment, which is thermonuclear destruction. All right, Lord, Luke 12:49. It says here, I am come to send fire on earth. Right. Why? Because of the wickedness. All right. And what will I, if it be already kindled? So there's going to be fire already set. And basically what it's saying, that fire is a consuming agent. And that's what this place is going to be consumed with violence. All right. Leading up to its ultimate judgment, which is the thermonuclear destruction. And this is how the Lord is going to answer the cries of, his people. All right. This is how he's going to answer the crimes of the wicked towards humanity. All right. You're going to get punished. All right. No one's going to be able to save you. And rightfully so. Okay. Now, back to this article, because this is kind of what stemmed this lesson, So they want to condemn people, and soon enough they will be condemning people openly, and detaining people. So when this article again, conspirators for the Constitution, and they used the guy in that January 6th sedition, they use him as an example for this article. All right. But they go further into, you don't have to even do anything violent. All you have to do is say something. And that's a red flag in itself. If a government, a whole superpower, has that type of authority to come after someone just for speaking, that means that they got to be hiding something. All right. Because rumors can be just rumors. All right. But those rumors are somewhat true, because if the government is that sensitive, they reacted to rumors, then they simply, they have something to hide. All right. Okay. And you can't hide this. All right. You can't hide this. All right. Okay. In time to deceit. Yeah. So, I just wanted to use kind of like play on this article and play on what, Esau doing by calling him a fugitive, because boy, is he running from justice, man. He running. Okay. Talking about 100-yard dash, man. He's running. Okay. But he's not going to escape. And the scriptures tell you that, Isaiah 47:1. And this is what the Lord is doing. All right. Come down, sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. That's Esau. All right. That's Psalms 137. Read that chapter. Okay. It literally calls Edom the daughter of Babylon. All right. So this is identifying Esau. All right. And this is future judgment, because we know that their nation still exists despite what people are saying. On the contrary, it says, sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. All right. Why does it call them the daughter of Chaldeans? The Chaldeans, because Chaldea, the Ur of Chaldees, they were known for the Magi's. All right. And having Magi's who work their magic. All right. Okay. And that's essentially what America does. Okay. But they're heavily known, all right, for their worship, or for their witchcraft, all right. And I was trying to quickly look up something really quick on the computer, but just to back up the claim. All right. Let me see. All right. So I'm going to continue reading. All right. Okay. So it says there is no throne, meaning no more rulership, no more superpower, calling the shots, so to speak. All right. And it says sit in the dust, meaning confusion, because that's where this place is going into complete confusion, because everything is pretty much, it's not what it used to be, and it's not the Lady of Kingdoms as it goes into, it's not the top-notch nation as far as, their traffic, okay? And that's all being cut due to what? The wickedness and how this place was established, all right? So it says, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Basically, soft and untouched, so to speak. Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. All right, and so the Lord is uncovering this place, okay? And take the millstones is representing the work, all right, because you grind mill, okay? Okay, and that's what has pretty much passed over the rivers. It's passed over this place. There's no more to be found in this place. Okay, and everybody, we're running on a society that's ran off of a fiat currency, which is not real. All right, the money has no backing, no value. Okay, and we're finna soon find that out. All right, when the hyperinflation really settles in. All right, so I'm kind of going longer than I thought, but here's the point. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. So the Lord is going to take vengeance, and it's saying he will not meet thee as a man. He's going to come as an angelic power to render judgment. Okay, so you can try to silence as many people as you want, but you're not going to silence the Lord. All right. Okay. All right. I know this is dealing with this is King David's Solomon. Songs. All right. Psalms. All right. Psalms 45 and let me see. Let's see. There's a point I want from here. Here we go. Psalms 45:3, it says, gird thy sword upon thy thigh, O most mighty, with thy glory and thy majesty. And in thy majesty ride prosperously because of truth and meekness and righteousness. And thy right hand shall teach thee terrible things. Basically, astonishing things, awesome things, right? Thine arrows are sharp in the heart of the king's enemies. That's right. Whereby the people fall under thee. Thy throne, O God, is forever and ever. The scepter of thy kingdom is a right scepter. So the rulership is what it means by scepter. Okay, because we're not living in a righteous rulership. All right, we're living in a wicked rulership, and we're waiting for the Lord to come with his righteous rulership and put an end to this reign of terror by Esau. All right, him continuing to run from justice, him persecuting people for him being exposed of his corruption and his tyranny in the earth, you know. So I just wanted to really do a lesson on that. All right, Lord willing, this lesson has been edifying, you know, because they're not going to stop what's coming. All right, they can cry out, they can cry wolf all day, and they can run from justice all they want and try to make it seem like they're the power and authority. But it's almost over. All right. Oh, here we go. I had a few more precepts, Salaki, on that. All right, Isaiah 29 and 21, of course. All right, and it says here, I'm going to start with a few verses. Right, verse 18, Isaiah 29:18, and in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book, and the deaf represent you Israelites, all right, who are spiritually deaf. They're dealing with you being spiritually deaf because you can't hear. And the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness, okay? And that's because the light of truth is going to shine, all right? And it's going to open the eyes, and it's going to open the ears, all right? Verse 19, the meek also shall increase their joy in the Lord Yahweh, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. That's right, okay? And it's talking about the spiritual poor, all right? Okay. All right, it says, for the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. You see, so the Lord is a cutoff point, all right, and that's what we're seeing unfold, okay, despite what their efforts are going to be, because they're going to come down with great wrath, but they're going to be cut off, all right. Eventually, they're going to be cut off, all right, and it's going to be swift. Okay, it's going to be swift, it's going to be really fast, and it's going to be really devastating. Verse 21, it says that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate. Right, and those are those who speak against the corruption of society and the wickedness that's embedded in society, and it has been embedded in society perpetually, deliberately. All right, by Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. You see, and that's what this society does. Okay, therefore, thus said the Lord Yahweh, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob. Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face wax pale. All right, and that's what the Lord is going to do for his people. Okay. Because we're going to have this truth, all right, and our face is going to shine, okay, all right, and it's not going, because when you wax pale, that means you're not full of light or life, okay. When one dies, their face become pale, okay, but our face we're going to be quickened, all right, and are quickened, and will be quickened in the times of trouble, all right. And we're going to be, that's why it says here, neither shall his face wax pale. All right. And we're not going to be ashamed. All right. But when he seeth his children, the work of mine hands, in the midst of him, they shall sanctify my name. To sanctify something is to make holy, to make separate. All right. So distinct, it's a distinction. All right. And that's a cut to those who are downplaying the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and sanctify the Holy One of Jacob, and shall fear the God of Israel. All right. They also that erred in spirit shall come to understanding, and they that murmured shall learn doctrine. That's right. okay? Because we're going to eventually convince the gainsayers. If not we, then of course the Lord, all right, by the things that's going to take place, all right? You know, also we persuade men, okay, because we know the terrors of the Lord. And Jake is going to, get right, those that are set to get right. Those who are wicked are going to be destroyed, period, And but Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, of course, also, of course, we're going to be persecuted for doing this truth. But what does, the scriptures say? All right. It speaks about fighting this truth unto death. Okay. Revelations 2 and 10. For none of those things for none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Right? And that's just a certain amount of time. It could be 10 days, it could be more, it could be less. All right. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. All right. So the devil is definitely going to imprison those who are speaking against him. Us, because we're the main ones. All right. Those are the ones he's going to give a crown of life. Those who are speaking. All right. Of course, in his spirit against this society. All right. And we know a lot of people that speak against, you got the regular peon people who don't know the Lord. You got even heathen who speak against this corruption in this society, but they're not going to get a crown of life, which is immortality. All right. Okay. So, also Matthew 10. Okay. I can't go without saying this. Matthew 10. All right. I'm going to start at what? I think 8. No, it's up. Okay. All right. And this goes to not being ashamed. And ultimately, the point is not for having fear of those that throw us in prison and persecute us. Matthew 10 and 11. And into whatsoever city or town ye shall enter, inquire who in it is worthy. So teach, all right, and get and teach for the souls who are worth this truth, okay, or who are worthy for this truth. It says, and there abide till you go thence. All right, so continue this work, and when you come into a house, salute it, and if the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it be not worthy, let your peace return to you. That's right. And we're going to have the power to put peace on people and to take peace away from them. All right. That's what it's coming to. Okay. That's what it is. All right. It says, whosoever shall not receive you nor hear your words when ye depart out of that house or city, shake off the dust of your feet. Right. Be through with that place. Okay. All right. And move on to the next. It says, verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. Why? Because a harsher judgment is coming, and that's the second death. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. But ye therefore be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Why? We have to be wise as serpents. Serpents are very keen, are very, very, very keen and very smart and witty. Okay. And harmless as doves. All right. Be harmless. Okay. Because again, the weapons of our warfare, though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. All right. So we don't use physical. We don't use the physical part. All right. Even though what we're saying is going, pretty much get us persecuted. All right. Or have the powers that be. Remember how Shai, he was in the Roman Empire, they were a lot more, stricter than it is now. All right. And of course, it's going to get back to that because the Roman Empire, that's the dragon. Okay, all right, it's likened unto a dragon. Okay, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, all right. And it says, but beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues, and ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. See? So the testimony against in that time, it was against the high priests who were in cahoots with the Roman Empire. All right, because the Gentiles represent the Romans that ruled over Israel. Okay, at that time. Okay, and it's the same as now. Okay, when we call out this society, we calling out the head honchos, which is Esau, Edom, and everyone that is mainly, our people as well. They're in the rankings of this society. They're in the top tier parts of this society. All right. Okay. So our testimony is going to be against them and the Gentiles. All right. Against our own people and the Gentiles. It says, but when they deliver you up, take no thought of how or what ye shall say or speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. That's right, because it's the Spirit that's consuming him. Us going out on the highways and byways, we're literally just surrogates of the Heavenly Father and the Spirit. The Spirit is on us, and we go out there and teach. So it's the Spirit of the Lord. That we're out there, but and also the Spirit of the Lord condemning this society. Okay. So it don't matter. And that's why I brought out Habakkuk chapter 2, verses 11. The beam shall cry out of the timber. All right. Or the wall, something to the extent of that. Slack. All right. For it shall be given you in the same hour what ye shall speak. For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. Slack. It says, because I said it ahead of time. It says, and the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. And that was happening. That was happening all throughout the Roman Empire, even the Greek Empire, unto these Edomites, because they're gonna forcibly make you, jump sides, choose them or the Lord. Okay, and we have to choose the Lord, and I'm gonna get to the point. Okay. Of why we choose the Lord. It says, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved. But when they persecute you in the city, flee ye into another. For verily I say unto you, ye shall not have gone over the cities of Israel till the Son of Man become. The disciples is not above his master, nor the servant above his Lord. That's right. So he went through it. We're going to get through it. Go through it. You see. And he got through it, and we're going to get through it. So, all right. So if they persecute us here, they persecute us here, we go and teach somewhere else. All right. Simple as that. Okay. It is enough for the disciple, verse 25, that he be as his master and the servant as his Lord. If they have called the master of the house of Beelzebub, how much more shall they call them of his household? Fear them not. Here's the point. Therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. What I tell you in darkness, that speak ye in light, and what ye hear in the ear, that preach ye upon housetops. That's right. Okay, that's truth. All right. It says, because we know the dark parables, the dark mysteries, and one of the mysteries is the destruction of the society that we live in. All right. And fear not them. All right. Moreover, is the most important part. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. That's right. Okay, that's Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. All right. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing? And one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father. You see? But the very hairs on your head are all numbered. Fear ye not, therefore ye are of more value than many sparrows. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Okay. Yeah, I think I pretty much covered everything, you know. Hey, shalom. Till next time. Yahabashim Al-Shai, Bashir Makakadash, Brakathum. All right. And Tawada for tuning in. Shalom.